In the heart of winter, as political tensions swirled between Canada and the United States, a simple piece of headwear would become the unlikely symbol of Canadian defiance, national pride, and shrewd political strategy. What began as a modest campaign accessory transformed into a cultural phenomenon that would define an election, capture international attention, and demonstrate the remarkable power of a well-timed political statement in the digital age. The story began in the offices of Jackpine Dynamic Branding, a creative company nestled in the nation's capital of Ottawa, as Donald Trump's provocative suggestions about Canada becoming America's 51st state dominated headlines, and threats of devastating tariffs loomed over the Canadian economy. The designers at this small Ottawa firm saw an opportunity to make a statement. They crafted a simple yet powerful message: Canada is not for sale, emblazoned on high-quality hats that would soon become the most recognizable political merchandise in the country's recent history. Doug Ford, Ontario's charismatic and often controversial premier, recognized the potential of this simple message immediately. Known for his populist appeal and his ability to connect with ordinary Canadians, Ford understood that in times of uncertainty and external pressure, nothing resonates quite like a clear declaration of national sovereignty. When he first donned the hat in front of media cameras, he was not merely wearing a piece of campaign merchandise. He was making a statement that would reverberate across the nation and beyond its borders. The Progressive Conservative Party of Ontario, under Ford's leadership, made an unprecedented investment in what many might have considered a simple campaign gimmick. Financial records would later reveal that the party spent an astounding $278,910.71 on these hats from Jackpine Dynamic Branding. At $23.19 each, the party purchased over 600 of these symbolic pieces, making it one of the most expensive single merchandise investments in Canadian political history. The timing could not have been more perfect for Ford's strategic gambit. As Trump's rhetoric intensified and trade tensions escalated, Canadians across the political spectrum found themselves searching for ways to express their national identity and resistance to external pressure. The hat became more than a political accessory. It evolved into a symbol of Canadian resilience, independence, and unwavering commitment to sovereignty. Ford's decision to wear it prominently during public appearances transformed him from a provincial politician into what media outlets began calling Captain Canada. Social media platforms exploded with images of the premier wearing his distinctive hat, creating a viral moment that transcended traditional political boundaries. Citizens who had never shown interest in Doug Ford's policies found themselves sharing his image, praising his defiant stance, and ordering their own versions of the hat. The phrase "Canada is not for sale" became a rallying cry that united Canadians from coast to coast, regardless of their political affiliations or provincial loyalties. Liam Mooney, the founder of the Ottawa-based design firm responsible for creating the original concept, found himself at the center of an unexpected whirlwind. In interviews, he described the experience as a very wild ride, explaining that he had not slept much in the days following Ford's public appearance with the hat. Orders flooded in from across the country and internationally, as people sought to own a piece of this moment in Canadian political history. The small business, which had created the hat as a response to Trump's provocative statements, suddenly found itself unable to keep up with unprecedented demand. The cultural impact extended far beyond simple merchandise sales or political symbolism. The hat became a conversation starter in coffee shops, community centers, and family gatherings across Ontario and beyond. It provided Canadians with a tangible way to express their feelings about national sovereignty, trade relationships, and their country's place in an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape. Parents wore the hats while dropping their children off at school. Workers donned them during lunch breaks, and seniors proudly displayed them during community gatherings. Ford's strategic use of the hat proved to be a masterstroke of political messaging during a crucial election period. While his opponents focused on traditional campaign issues such as healthcare, education, funding, and economic policy, Ford had successfully positioned himself as the defender of Canadian values and independence. The visual impact of seeing their premier standing up to external pressure resonated with voters in ways that conventional political advertisements and policy announcements could never achieve. The phenomenon reached such heights that it began attracting international attention and creating unexpected challenges. The company behind the "Canada is not for sale" hats worn by Ontario Premier Doug Ford sent a cease and desist letter to ABC Business selling merchandise with similar phrasing. This legal action highlighted how the simple slogan had become valuable intellectual property, worthy of protection in an increasingly competitive merchandise market. The hat's popularity even extended into the realm of sports and entertainment, creating moments that further cemented its place in Canadian popular culture. When a Toronto Blue Jays fan was reportedly removed from Rogers Stadium for wearing his "Canada is not for sale" hat, the incident sparked national controversy and prompted Ford himself to personally call the fan, encouraging him to continue wearing the hat with pride. This gesture further reinforced Ford's image as a leader who stood with ordinary Canadians against any form of external pressure or censorship. The electoral impact of this simple piece of headwear cannot be overstated. As votes were counted, the results analyzed, political experts pointed to Ford's masterful use of nationalist sentiment as a key factor in securing his rare third consecutive majority government. The hat had transformed what might have been a routine election into a referendum on Canadian independence and sovereignty, allowing Ford to frame himself as the candidate best positioned to defend Ontario and Canada against external threats and pressures. The financial investment of nearly $300,000 in campaign hats initially drew criticism from opponents, who questioned the wisdom of spending such substantial amounts on merchandise rather than traditional advertising or policy development. However, the massive return on investment in terms of media coverage, social media engagement, and electoral success ultimately vindicated Ford's strategy. The hats generated millions of dollars worth of free publicity and created a lasting visual association between Ford and the defense of Canadian sovereignty. The success of the "Canada is not for sale" campaign demonstrated the evolving nature of political communication in the digital age, in an era where traditional advertising methods compete with countless distractions for voter attention. Ford had discovered that a simple, powerful visual symbol could cut through the noise more effectively than expensive television advertisements or elaborate policy documents. The hat became a perfect example of how effective political messaging combines emotional appeal with practical utility, creating something that supporters were proud to wear and display. As the campaign concluded, and Ford celebrated his electoral victory, the legacy of the "Canada is not for sale" hat extended far beyond a single election cycle. It had become a defining moment in Canadian political history, demonstrating how creative messaging, perfect timing, and genuine sentiment could combine to create a cultural phenomenon that transcended traditional political boundaries and united Canadians around shared values of independence, sovereignty, and national pride. The small hat with its simple message had proven that sometimes the most powerful political statements come not from elaborate speeches or complex policy platforms, but from the ability to capture the essence of what people truly believe and feel about their country and its place in the world. This remarkable story of a simple hat that became a symbol of national defiance reminds us that in our interconnected world, the most unexpected moments can define political movements and shape electoral outcomes, from a small Ottawa design firm to the halls of Queen's Park. From viral social media posts to international headlines, Doug Ford's strategic gamble with a $23 hat created a political phenomenon that will be studied and remembered for years to come. It stands as a testament to the enduring power of clear messaging, national pride, and the ability of ordinary objects to carry extraordinary meaning when they capture the spirit of a moment in history. If you found this deep dive into Canadian political strategy as fascinating as we did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to join the West's best community. We explore the most compelling political stories, cultural phenomena, and strategic insights from across the Western world, bringing you in-depth analysis that goes beyond the headlines. Ring that notification bell so you never miss our latest content. And let us know in the comments below what other political stories you would like us to investigate next. Until then, keep exploring the remarkable stories that shape our democratic societies. And remember that sometimes the smallest details can reveal the biggest truths about politics, power, and the pulse of a nation.